Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on this beautiful day. How you guys and girls doing? I hope you're doing great as always. Today we're just working on the inventory system in our game here, State RPG. Before we get started, please check out the description box. As always, there's a bunch of nice links down there for different playlists, C++ tutorials and stuff. Like I said before, this series is kind of not really a tutorial for C++. It's more of a way to use C++, right? So you just go check that out, and there are plenty of good C++ tutorials on the web. Then you got my support page, my Twitter. Please follow me on those if you can. Drop a like, subscribe if you want to. Otherwise, let's just start with the video. What I want to do is I want to create this inventory as basically an array, right? So it's going to be an array of different types of items. We're going to have weapons and all that stuff. But basically, just to get started, what we need is our item, the core array, which is going to hold all our items. Then we're going to need some kind of a size counter, so to make sure how big our array is going to be. And to do that, I'm just going to create an unsigned what should we call it, cap for capacity. Okay, and then we're going to say unsigned number of items. Alright, so we got two things here. We got a capacity where we're going to have how big this array is going to be, and then we got a number of items which says kind of how many of these spaces actually have valid items in them. Because I hope you watched the last video. I showed you everything is going to be pointers, but they're not going to point to anything in this big array. And that's going to save some space, right, in that sense. And then once we want to create an array, or we want to create an item, we're going to create an item at that spot, at that pointer. So that pointer is going to be pointing to another item. So that's kind of how this is going to work. So this is going to keep track of all the valid items in the array. This is the total large size of an array. Imagine that as a big empty box. Okay, just an empty box. It's taking up space, but it's empty. And once we start putting stuff in there, that's going to be how many items we have in that empty box. That's basically how that is. So don't freak out. Again, check out dynamic array examples, either mine or someone else's, and it's a really good way to learn about these types of arrays. Anyway, we got those two things going. Then we're gonna have a bunch of functions in here that are private. Okay, so we're gonna have private functions, and we're gonna need a few ways to expand the array. So we're just gonna say expand here. We're gonna need ways to expand the array. We need a way to initialize the array as well. So those two are going to be private. Then we're going to have public functions as well, of course. But if we go into our inventory.cpp, I'm going to start off by commenting some stuff here. I'm just going to say private functions, and then constructor destructors. Like that, same thing in here, just to keep track of stuff, know what is what. All right, and then we're gonna say functions down here, paste that there. So there we go. All right, so we're gonna get started. So what is the constructor gonna do? Well, it's gonna do this initialize, basically. So it's gonna initialize our whole array. And basically, the initialize function is to create an empty array with some type of size, depending on how big we want it. Or actually, wait, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. We're gonna say unsigned cap equals 10. So what this does is, in the constructor, we need to give it a size. So how big should our array be when we create it? Okay, so basically that's the way it's going to work. You want default values only in one of these. You don't want them in both. So make sure you remove it from the CPP and just keep it here in the H file. So that's cool. All right, so we're actually not going to do that in initialize. Initialize is just going to make everything into null pointers. What we're going to do is we're going to say this items equals new item pointer array of cap. All right, so this is going to be our array. I hope you can see what's happening. We take this cap, which has a default value of 10 if you don't want to input anything, So say the user didn't input anything. We're going to have a item pointer array of 10 spaces. So just to recap, I know for those of you who know this already, please just skip ahead a little bit. But for those of you who are wondering what the hell is going on, we created a big empty box with 10 basically empty spaces. Okay, beautiful box like this. And then say that this is 10. This isn't 10, but we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, something like that, whatever. I don't know. We have these spaces, they're empty, right? And we have a bunch of pointers in here now, just pointers pointing to nothing in memory. Okay, they're just dangling, just random pointers, not dangling pointers, just random pointers. So this is basically a symbol for them pointing to nothing. If Paint could work with me here for once. Okay, basically like that. So it's pointing to nothing. Now say we wanted to create a actual item in memory, so we create an item and we point this pointer to it, and there will be an actual item in here, some sort of weapon or armor in memory, but the rest of these are just empty. This one is pointing to an actual item. So that's how that works. I hope again that this is kind of clear to you now and why this is a good thing to do in C++. So I'm still trying to use this just to teach you some stuff in C++, right? So basically that's how it's going to work. So right now we created that empty array of 10 pointers. Then we want to set all the variables. So this capacity equals cap, meaning that we want the array itself, the inventory class itself, to keep track of the maximum size of this inventory right now. So that's what the user inputs, right? Or doesn't input, whatever, the default value here, anything. So it's going to be set, it's going to be remembered inside this inventory class. And then this number of items, let me let you just guess once how big this should be at start. Should it be cap or what should it be? Okay, so for those of you who guess 0, you're correct, because we have no items to start off with, right? We have nothing in here, it's empty, but it has a space like our empty box we talked about. So that's why this is so important. I know I'm talking a lot about this stuff, but it's really important to know. So we got all that stuff going and we initialized our array. Basically we created an empty array. Now what we can do is we can make a little for loop here. Don't freak out about size t again, for those of you who haven't watched. It's just another version of a unsigned integer. So this cap, so I'm just gonna go through the whole array, all of our empty things, and I'm gonna say this items at position I equals null pointer, because null pointer a pointer created like this with a bunch of pointers just like this created, they don't have any value. They're not pointing to anything, but they're just rubbish, right? It's just crap. So if you try to use them, it's not good. If you try to delete them, it's not going to be good. It's going to crash. Okay, I know we've talked about this before probably in my tutorials and stuff, but I'm going to say it again. If you try to delete a pointer that's not set to a value or null pointer, you're going to get a crash because it's trying to delete something, just random crap somewhere. So if you set everything to null pointer, you kind of safeguard against that, because if you delete a pointer that is a null pointer, the computer knows that it's not pointing to anything, so it's safe to delete it. Even if nothing happens, it will delete it, right? So that delete call won't crash. Now I'm just going to say const unsigned from here, and this means I can initialize either from the start of the array or from a certain point in the array to the end. Okay, from. And what that does is, and I'm going to give it a default value of 0 just to make sure, because what a user can do now is I can initialize this from 0 to cap, or I can initialize it from maybe index 5 to cap. And why I'm doing that is because I might have some type of I might have some items here, right, already in my inventory, and I expand my inventory a little bit. I make it a little bigger because I notice, okay, I'm going to need spaces for more stuff here. Then I don't want to initialize it from the start here, from the 0 index, because that's going to remove my 2 items here. I want to initialize it from this index to make sure everything else is null pointer, or even from this index, whatever you want to do, as long as this doesn't get removed. If I don't have that from parameter, I won't have that choice. So I have to do it from the start. I have to remove everything. So I don't want that. I don't want this function to be a hindrance. I want it to help me. That's why I have a from thingy, and it will help me kind of choose where I want to initialize it from. But at the start, when the inventory is created at the constructor, I want to initialize it from the very beginning. Okay, so that's fine. Now we're getting to the end of the video. I just want to make sure we create a way to delete, and I show you how to delete a pointer array. All right, now this is not only valid for this inventory class, it's valid for any type of pointer array that you're creating, a dynamic array like this. So if you want to delete it, there are a few ways, there's things you have to do, because if you remember this, if we just delete this array, we go through here, delete everything, we're going to delete all of these things, but we're not going to delete the actual array. It's also, if you remember, it's also a pointer. So there is a pointer here pointing to the actual array somewhere with a bunch of pointers in it, which are pointing to different items. So first of all, you want to delete all of these items here. You want to go ahead and delete these items, every item anywhere here that these pointers are pointing to. Then you want to go ahead, and I don't know where the hell my mouse is, and then you want to delete the whole array by deleting this pointer. So for those of you who are kind of awake right now, we want to go through just about, or this number of items actually, I should say, and we want to say delete this inventory, no, this items at position I. So what is happening here is I'm going through these items and I'm just crossing them off, all the items I have. All right, that's what I'm doing. So I'm not actually I'm not deleting the array right now. I'm deleting what they're pointing to. So I'm deleting these items, and once that's done, I need to delete the whole array. This one, boom, I need to delete the whole array of all the pointers. So for the 100th time, I'm sorry, I need to do delete this items like that, but not just delete. I need to tell it that this is an array I'm deleting. So I'm gonna have to put these two empty bracket things here, and that what that does is it deletes. It's created for deleting whole arrays, right? So it's gonna go here. Basically what it will do, it will go to items, and what an array is basically just a pointer to the first element in an ordered list like this. So it's gonna go to the first element and it's gonna remove everything that has to do with that array. Okay, so that's a special way. You have to use that if you're deleting arrays. If you're just deleting single pointers, you need to do this. Okay, so here we go. Now we just completely deleted the whole inventory. Okay, and we don't have to do anything else because it's at the end of this inventory's life, so it's gone. And then we have our expand function. We'll work on that in the coming videos, and we'll add some more stuff. Basically what we're gonna need is a way to add items, remove items, sort items, do whatever the hell you want to do, a bunch of useful things for an array. What you could do is, this is basically a vector class. So the vectors we've been using, std vector, this is basically that. You're creating your own version of that right now. So that's why this is so important for you in C++, and it teaches you a good way to handle pointers as well. Please check out pointer tutorials, all that stuff. Please, again, I can't stress enough, check that out. Look at dynamic arrays. It's really good to know when you're learning C++, because it's basically what C++ is about. Pointers and goddamn inheritance. That's the two crappy things you need to know in order to be successful with C++, okay? So get really good at pointers, and just do that, trust me. Yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with me on this video. Please check out the description box. Again, bunch of useful links. Follow me on my Twitter, check out my support page, subscribe, drop a like if you want. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you're learning. Take care, and I'll see you guys and girls in the next one, right? Bye bye.